Hello, good evening. I'm Malik Drayton, Conservation Agent, and this is the January 23rd, 2024 meeting of the Somerville Conservation Commission meeting. I'd like to start off with introductions. Susan,
Yeah, hi, I'm Susan O'Brien, Commissioner.
uh, Titania,
Hi, Tatiana Ng, Commissioner.
Newton,
Newton Tedder, Commissioner.
David,
Turn, Commissioner.
and I am Conservation Agent Malik Drayton. First order of business will be after I make sure everyone who is supposed to be here for it is here. Todd, are you here for the request of determination of all right. So
Yeah.
tonight we are here to have a public meeting for the request of determination of applicability for this project. So Todd, would you like to introduce yourself, your project, and your purpose?
Yeah, thanks so much, Malik. And I guess let me start by introducing Gina Cortese, who's here. She's the project manager for the city, and it is a city project. It's some sewer and drain work over in the 10 Hills neighborhood. So I'm Todd Perkup, technical manager with Woodard and Curran. And I also have Emily Neal in here, who's the staff engineer on the job, also with Woodard and Curran. Gina, is there anything you wanted to say before I get into it, or do you want me to jump in?
Not really, Todd. I think.
Okay.
Thanks for the introduction. I think you're good to take it away from here.
All right. I wanted to make sure people knew you were here at least. So yeah, I think this should be somewhat familiar to most of the commission. I think back at the December meeting where we went through just to kind of discuss the appropriate way to to bring this in front of the commission. I think we got some feedback at that meeting that request for determination of applicability was the right move, and so we've since filed that, and that's what we're here to present. So I guess if it makes sense, I could just do a quick overview of the work that's planned, and let you folks have ask any questions that you've got. So if it's all right, let me just share my screen here. And Malik, I don't have screen sharing enabled. Is there a chance you could turn that on?
Absolutely. 1 second.
Sorry, you invited me as a panelist, and I thought that was going to be good enough, and I guess it's not. Sorry.
All right, let's see. That's true. I'm usually used to the other software. Here we go. Participant share at a time. Okay. And pin spotlight make host name. One second. Let's see.
No worries.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Let's do it this way. No, I'm not sharing. There it goes. Try that.
Let's see. Success. Yes, thank you. All right. Is that working on your end? Can you guys see my screen? Beautiful. Okay. All right. So this we're just going to take a quick look here at the planned scope of work. Again, this is in the 10 Hills neighborhood. So this is Shore Drive at Crest Hill Road. Like the DCR boathouse is just down here to the left, and then if you stayed on Shore Drive here over on this side, you'd end up at Assembly. And it's not a ton of work, but it's important, and so we just want to make sure that we've got everything understood here. And so there's work on both the city's sewer and drain systems in this area that we are proposing. And the work takes a couple of different forms, where you can see these dark, these sort of black lines, and the circles, that's just replacement of existing either sanitary sewer or storm sewer pipes. The circles are obviously manholes. In order to minimize the scope of the work, minimize the disruption, minimize cost to the city, where possible, we're lining existing pipes. So that's where, we don't have to dig up the pipe. We can put a liner inside the pipe that basically forms a new pipe inside. And so where you see these kind of narrower sections of pipe, that's where we're going to line it, right? And you can see conveniently here where it goes under the sidewalk, we'll be able to line that to limit the disturbance. And so the scope of work here, again, this is rehabilitation, replacement of existing sanitary sewer. There's another sewer line that goes from here and across to this sewer manhole that luckily is in good shape. And so that does not need to be rehabilitated at this time. Then at the same time, there's a replacement of the drain in Shore Drive and then lining over, on this section of the sidewalk. As part of a project with the city, we've passed like a CCTV camera through all these pipes, and that's how we've been able to determine what sections need to be dug and replaced, whereas what sections have the opportunity to line them. And then on Crest Hill Road, I'm just going to switch plans here because it shows it a little bit better. Oh, sorry, I gotta go up. Crest Hill Road, again, there's sewer and drain work. In Crest Hill Road, the existing sewer and storm drain are stacked right on top of each other. This is something we see in quite a few areas of the city. Originally, that the sewer would have come down, the sewer and the storm drain probably both came down into this manhole. And actually on the city's, the record drawings that the city has, it basically shows them right on top of each other. As part of that camera work we did, again, we were able to find that there was actually a bend had been installed in order to route the sewer over to this manhole at some point. Again, all that is in relatively poor condition and needs to be replaced. This section here too, we want to note that this is driven by, the reason that we inspected this area was driven by results from the city's illicit discharge program. So that is to say that, as part of the MS4 permit, that the NIPD's permit that allows the city to discharge separated stormwater into waterways like the Mystic River, the city has a responsibility to test that water from time to time and look for certain signs of contamination from potential sewage. And in this case, there were some signs of that. When signs of that are found, there are regulations that require that the city basically go upstream and test and try to find the source of that. It often involves testing within houses to see if maybe they're connected to the wrong lines or whatever. In this case, it doesn't, all the testing of the houses came back just fine. But when we inspected the pipes, we found that both the sewer and the storm drain were in such poor condition and stacked right on top of each other that it appears to be that in this area, that illicit connection, that connection between the sanitary sewer and the storm sewer pipes it appears to be caused by the poor condition of both pipes. Basically, they're both cracked and they're both right on top of each other. So under certain conditions, sewage is allowed to flow into the storm drain system. And so that's what's driving this work. That's why we investigated in this area specifically. We're trying to solve that problem and clean up the water that's getting discharged into the Mystic. So again, there's some direct replacement here and manhole replacement down in the intersection of Shore Drive and Crest Hill Road. But as you can see here, all the work really it's within the roadways, except for this section under the sidewalk, but that's only getting lined. It's not getting dug, so there's no digging in the sidewalk area. Does that make sense for scope of work? I'm just going to switch plans here. And this is, I believe this is the plan that went in with the filing, so you folks have probably seen this. Like I mentioned, the city's, this is based on the city's GIS, which didn't have this sewer quite right. Again, we found that bend here, so that's why it looks a little bit different on the plan, but it's the same idea. It's work within the roadway. And you can see some of the resource areas, and this is why we're in front of you folks tonight, is that there is identified in Mass GIS, there's a bordering vegetated wetland along the Mystic River there. And so this green area is the 100-foot buffer from that. Obviously, we're inside of it. The two other things shown on the screen, the blue lines, is the 100-year flood zone. We are not actually working in that, but it was close by, so we're showing it on the map. And then the same thing, the pink is the riverfront, right? That's the 25-foot riverfront zone off the Mystic. So the only one we're actually, the only one we're working within here is luckily is the 100-foot buffer from the bordering vegetated wetlands. Again, we have no plans to disturb those or work outside the roadway. It's just work within the roadway. I guess with that, I think we discussed this a little bit last time, but based on our read of the Wetlands Protection Act, we feel that this work should hopefully qualify for an exemption as utility work within the roadway and as repair and maintenance of existing utilities. And that's what we're here to hopefully get your concurrence on. So I guess that's probably my explanation. And Gina or Emily, feel free to jump in if there's anything I missed there, but otherwise I'm happy to take any questions you folks have.
Hi, Todd, thank you for that presentation. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to remember back to when we talked about this, and I don't think it was December, it was probably November, was it?
You might be right. Yep.
Um,
Sorry.
And at that point, I guess you guys were looking for whether you needed to request, whether you needed to file an NOI with us. And I kind of thought at that time, we thought you did because we didn't. And now I may have this totally 180 degrees, but I thought it was because we at least initially didn't think it qualified as an emergency work. Am I remembering that incorrectly, or did we get corrected when someone did another reading of the regs?
I think I remember it as we were trying to, like, if they came, they're coming back now to see if we can get them underneath 10.02 to A2.
Okay.
So this would be an exemption. So they're not, it'd be an exemption to, let me just read it. Activities conducted to maintain, repair, replace, not substantially change or enlarge an existing or lawfully located structure or facility used in service of the public and used to provide electric, gas, water, sewer, telephone, telegraph, or other communication services, provided said work utilizes best practical measures to avoid or minimize impacts to wetland resource areas outside of the footprint in said structure or facility. So we had them come back to basically say like what they were going to be doing for their measures, so we could make sure that they would fall under that 2 exemption. So they're back here now saying like, here's our best practices and measures we're going to do to minimize the impacts to wetland resource areas during the work on the water and sewer line. I think
Yep, no, that's,
somebody else can correct me.
no, that's a good summary. Yeah, we are not, I guess to clarify, we're not applying as an emergency project. It is, a plan, design, bid project. So we are not applying as an emergency. The Newt's exactly right on the note that, there's that exemption that he read off. There's also an exemption in 10.02B for activities within the buffer zone that allow for installation or repair of underground sewer lines within existing paved or unpaved roadways. And in this case, all of our work is within the existing paved roadways. And so, we also feel that this exemption should apply to the work as it's currently planned as well.
Okay. And forgive me, I see that I got a package a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't look at it in detail. So does your sediment and erosion controls, was that included in that package, what you're proposing, in
Yes,
response?
yep, exactly. And I can bring those up. And
Yeah.
in this case, I guess just looking at the site for a moment, we did look at and consider the potential need for erosion controls, but it seems like this curb line here is, pretty significant, and that
Yeah.
there's not an opportunity for any runoff from the roadway to make it to the Mystic because of that curb line. So it seemed like, any hay bales or silt fence there would be pretty redundant because we're not digging over the curb. Like, we could always add them if you guys wanted them, but
Yeah, but are there catch basins in the street?
yes, yep, there are. And so that's exactly where our, and I don't have the, I apologize. I just need to open up the other sheet. Give me a moment here. But we did submit a detail sheet, and so we'll have, catch basin protection, and then also if there's dewatering, we showed a set basin for dewatering, so that any sediment in the water dewatered out of the trench won't make it to the waterway. Those seemed like the most relevant practices to us is protecting the catch basins and then making sure that dewatering water was clear before it got out of the before it got discharged. But again, we're, we can take suggestions if needed, but we should have had. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the dewatering basin that would be used. Again, if they've got to dewater the trench in this area, they'd be pumping to a basin like this that has crushed stone within hay bales, so that, again, any of that sediment gets trapped in there, and the water, by the time it discharges through the crushed stone and then through the hay bales, it should be clear. And then there's a similar detail for any catch basins, just to protect the catch basins from any sort of runoff from the site. The work will be relatively quick here. It should certainly be less than a week of work excavation wise. And so the trench would also be closed at the end. It'll be closed in that it will not be like, boxed or plated overnight. The trench will be brought up to grade and finished with gravel at the end of each day. And then we wouldn't expect it to be, more than a week or so without being paved. The specifications do require that the contractor pays at the end of each week anyway, so it wouldn't be a prolonged exposed trench.
Maybe kind of an open question to my colleagues. Do you guys have a preference for filter socks instead of hay bales as protection around inlets like this?
Does this drop inlet, is it big enough to allow your insertion of one of those? Some of those drop inlets can be really small.
Yeah, I don't know offhand. I'd have to check it. We could likely use like a silt sack or something like that in the catch basins, unless there's a curb inlet. Those can get a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And so if there's a curb inlet, we often end up using the hay bales instead.
Dave, I would agree with you. I like the filter socks better than the hay bales when they can be used. They just do a better job, I think.
Yeah, and you're talking about the catch basin specifically?
Yeah.
Or not? Okay. We also sometimes use like the big dirt bags for dewatering too, which
No, it looked like you had it in your previous image. Looked like it was like there was some sort of a filter material lining the.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's, I those are, I'm not sure how tall it's two rows. So I mean, so it's between the first, so it's probably a 12-foot. The hay bales are probably about 12 inches each, something like that.
How high are the silt socks? I'm just wondering if there's a high flow, if it'll just back up on the silt sock and just go over the sock.
They hang into the catch basins.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's like an insert.
They do
Okay.
still need to be maintained though, and they can, the problem that you see isn't that it goes over the sock. It's the drainage, the stormwater can back up onto the street if they're not well enough maintained. So
Mm.
they have to get emptied and maintained, but
Right.
contractors are used to doing that,
And,
Okay.
and make sure your contractor doesn't just, poke through it with a pickaxe,
Yes.
Yeah.
You've done this before, huh?
which I've seen. Yeah.
I've also seen that.
That does solve the problem for them.
Yeah. And actually to that point, like I'm looking now, we do have both details provided. And so,
Oh, yeah.
and so this shows exactly like how the silt sacks work. Right. And so we're happy to be honest, this is much easier set up. So if it works, this is what the contractor is going to use. If you want us to put in any requirements around that, we're happy to do so.
I just, they're probably gonna use them anyway, just as you said, but yeah, using those when you're able to would be
Right.
preferable.
Yep. Yeah. That would be their preference too, I'm sure.
And hopefully if it's only in place for a week, it shouldn't be that much accumulation of materials in it.
Yeah.
Of course, you never know. We never know with some of these flashy storms we're getting.
Yeah, and actually, I should just clarify, like the trench won't be open for more than a week. There's likely more than a week worth of work here, right? So it may be that some of some of this gets done, then those trenches would be closed. This like longer drain relay that might take 2 weeks or something. It's still not a long period of time.
No, but then something else that I'd like to see would be some sort of an inspection you know, that someone goes out there and checks them once a week, you know, if it's more than, you know, if it's more than a week.
Yep, yeah, so we'll have a resident engineer out there. Is it sufficient to have them inspect it, or do you want us? Some places
No.
the conservation commissions want to be notified so they could inspect it if they wanted to, or?
Well, I know, I mean, if we were issuing an OC, I know that you would be required to notify us, you know, in advance of, you know, and I guess Malik would go out and check that. But you know, but you're coming in under the exemption, so it seems kind of weird for us to impose
Yeah, some people.
that on you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess if you want to, I mean, you know, I guess Gina is probably, you know, a few desks over, you know, so if she wants to tell, you know, Malik that, you know, work is starting next week, that might be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm inclined to require it.
Yeah. We can obviously definitely keep Malik in the loop of the construction in this area. I'll also offer, we have finally backfilled our trench inspector position in engineering, so we could also have that person
Right, so maybe your
responsive to go
department
check.
is overseeing it anyway, you know, but those would just be the things I'd be looking for. You know, is that those systems are installed properly and they're being maintained.
Yep. Yeah, and to be fair, that's something we're watching, and you know, we're in front of you here because of the proximity to the wetlands, but to be honest, like those catch basin protections, those are just as important everywhere there's separated stormwater, right? Whether,
Yep.
even if we're, just
That's-
because we're 200 feet from the wetlands, it doesn't mean it can't make it to the water.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, presumably, you know, unless it's, I mean, obviously we know stormwater systems fill with sediment, but theoretically, you know, whatever goes in is coming out the other end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
So Malik, what's our next step here?
Next step is now, if the commissioners have any other questions, now would be the time to talk about that, or now we just make a determination whether they get a negative determination, which means that they're all set. And they're approved to move forward. And then I will draft the paperwork. But we would need to discuss it and vote on it. So that time is here.
Who's running this thing anyway?
So let's see, I guess I would just call a vote. So
Or like, I can make a motion to.
there we
Yeah,
go.
I think we're supposed to
Um,
vote to a motion now.
Yeah. What am I'm to? Is it a negative
So it's a motion of a negative determination?
of the requirements to submit an NOI?
Yes, I think that sounds right.
Yep.
You know,
I will make that motion, whatever I just said there, with it not require an NOI.
well, and I'll second whatever it is you just said.
All right. So with that said, in terms of the determination, we just need to hash out exactly what negative determination it is. And then I will deliver these to a location, and then everyone could come and sign it.
Malik, do we, in the negative determination response, do we usually put in any sort of things we'd like to see, even though we can't require, you know, so like, I'm just saying you could probably lift and cut basically what they have put in the Form 1 here. At the end, they have a little narrative saying that, you know, we're going to use BMPs, trenches won't be open
Yeah,
overnight, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was going to say, I think we should do that because the exemption they're filing under is, you know, is kind of with the understanding that they're implementing these controls. So I think that I think it should. I don't know if there's a narrative field or there's a space to put it, but that we understand it's going to be constructed consistent with with the design sheets that were provided. You know, something like that.
Yep. So yeah, we've issued a negative determination, and dealt with the whole determination of applicability stuff, and also threw in special conditions or our standards along with it. So we could always do that.
I'm good with that. I'm good with it.
All right. So I will get together the paperwork and
Do we all vote, or do we just
Yeah,
do
we
it?
have to. we
yes,
should
you
have
all
our vote.
vote.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, it's a chairless meeting, right? So I believe I'll just call roll here, and Susan.
Yes, I vote to do that, to make the negative determination.
All right. Newton,
Yeah.
David,
Yes.
Titania.
Yep.
All right, so that is 4 yeses, and no no's. And I believe if someone's not here, they're abstained, or do we just count that as no because we're missing 2 commissioners currently?
I think you just reflected as a 4-0 vote.
All right, 4-0. It
As long
passes.
as we, right, as long as we have a quorum.
There we go. So you guys are all set, and we'll be in touch. Todd, Gina, thank you for your time. Emily, thank you.
Thanks very
Yeah,
much.
thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yep.
Malik,
Good
we
luck.
will definitely be in touch.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
You
Good
too.
night.
Good night.
Okay, moving on to the agenda. I guess I'll share my screen if I have it and pop on the agenda in case it's not in front of any of you guys. But I have 50 million windows open. So let's see. Wow. 1 second, bear with me. But next, I would like to discuss incoming correspondence. Do you guys receive that email from Allison Muir today? More?
Yes.
Okay. This would be discussing the OSRP and certain questions. Any chance we could go over that?
Sure.
Sure.
Now, did you want to try and kind of answer them as a group tonight? Or
We could.
I'll
we-
get back to
we
her.
could-
I'm-
We could do a little bit of both. We discussed something similar in the Urban Forestry Committee meeting last week. And so they just tackled some things together, just shot things off of their head if anything was blatant or just glaring enough to say out loud immediately, and then everyone individually could just submit the answers to the question as they deem appropriate. So I guess I will bring that email up now. There goes that agenda. Am I sharing my screen already or no?
No.
All right. That is for the best. Incoming correspondence. Double click. Enlarge. And then go back here. Share screen. Believe that's it. Everyone sees the email?
No,
yes, no, it's just
Excellent.
coming.
yes.
Perfect. So I'll just take notes on, oh, we didn't even, I'll take minutes for this meeting. And so that's hashed out. And I will take notes as we go through the questions. So what do you see as the most pressing issues for wetlands and rivers in Somerville today? Anyone?
Climate change, big resiliency to climate change.
Since we're missing so many people, do you think this would be better handled just through emails and maybe like
Yeah.
a prodding? Just because we're missing a bunch of people today.
Yeah, I feel like Michael would have opinions.
Yeah.
Do we
It's also
know if
tough
he is he out of pocket until after the 31st though? I mean, do we know what the significance of the January 31st date is? Because that's soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long Malik, you're muted.
Yeah, so that's soon. I reckon we could just all take a long think and flush it out and send all your responses to Allison before the 31st. That's fine too.
Do you know why she needs it by the 31st?
The OSRP has tons of deadlines, so that's why she has a lot to put together. So
Do you know
Did
what
she
the
say
time?
she-
I'm sorry. You could.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if she said she wanted, like, do we need to be a collective group to send one set of responses back, or can we each send our own responses?
you can each send your own responses. She also just kind of wanted to throw it out there as an exercise so everyone could collaborate and kind of talk about it.
It's tough because we just don't have a lot of wetland space, you know? I don't have a lot of wetlands in general.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if I would have thought of climate change in the resilience issue. I think that's actually a great
Mhm.
great thing to raise. You know, so I appreciate, you know, that being pointed out.
I think because we don't have a lot of wetlands, like what you just said, is we want to preserve the ones we have. So I think preserving them is really important, just because they're limited, and we're the most populated city in New England, so we want to make sure that we keep them, you know, maintained well. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that brings into Tatiana's thing about climate change too, like losing those, you know,
Yeah.
wetlands and waterfront areas.
Yeah.
No, I'm also reading her questions as broader than just, you know, the wetlands and the rivers. I mean, because it seems like she's really talking about open space and recreational programs, you know, much broader, you know, even though she's asking us to answer them wearing our Conservation Commission hats, which is a little bit of a weird fit.
Yeah. Look, she tried to break them up into like the first three dealing with more like wetland stuff, and the last
Yeah.
four are very broad.
Yeah. I mean, in to be honest, in years past, we used to, you know, they used to come and present the draft, you know, open space plan to the commission. And we kind of signed, you know, and we got a chance to review the document before it was, you know, issued to the public for their review. You know, I don't know that anything like that is possible.
We could ask, right?
We can, like, and again, I haven't seen anything about what, you know, what the city's thinking, the public participation or its coordination with, I mean, you know, obviously you sent us a set of questions, but that's not the same as saying, you know, we're looking for reviewers of the draft plan. Do you know, Malik, how it's being reviewed internally?
All right, so there is well, we've had a few public meetings, and
Right.
it is being reviewed and flushed out across departments. Everyone's getting a look at it. And we've elicited a lot of feedback from people in terms of like what they think is appropriate for open space in Somerville and how they think of the current.
Yeah, as a reminder, I think we've all received like another email which had a URL for like an online
Survey.
survey.
Yep.
And I was a little unclear whether that was
Yeah.
sent to us because we're commissioners or whether that was just a general public one.
Oh, that has been disseminated widely. Widely.
Okay.
But also this is Conservation Commission specific.
Okay.
And then of course, like, you know, there's a lot of sections and groups to think about. We have forestry and the gardens and the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
So it's just one of many pieces to get this plan together.
So as a reminder, we all can go in and fill out the other form as residents as well.
Yep.
You know, so I do think I don't think we should spend a lot of time, but if other people have other like, you know, real, you know, things that you think would be good for us all to kind of, you know, echo that, I don't mind a couple minutes of brainstorming. You know, again, I think millions things, just generally protecting the wetlands we have, you know, and the riverfront we have is important.
For our like role as keepers of the community gardens, for better or worse, would that fall in here? Like, what do you hear from residents? And then we hear from like them about like they want more space for community gardens stuff like all the time. Does that fit into this? That like in our role, like that would be something we would hear.
That would fit. That would absolutely fit.
Types of open space or recreational programs that don't exist that are needed. I don't know.
Malik, do you know if you know, Michael or the other commissioners are going to be back? I don't know if you know where Michael is, if he wasn't able to make this meeting.
I don't believe Megan is on vacation. I think she's just not available tonight specifically. However, I'm not sure exactly when Michael will be back. However, I do anticipate it's before the 31st.
Yeah.
So it should be fine. I could always just call him and remind him on the 30th or something.
Yeah, just like Tatiana said, he had probably is the longest institutional, you know, knowledge and perspective.
Yeah, and he's been CC'd on all these emails, so he keeps track. He's usually very good about responding to these sorts of prompts.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, how have things changed over time? Like, there used to be a river running through Somerville, and it has been culverted and turned into a sewer. Is that something we put in there? Be nice to daylight that thing.
You know, if you're familiar with the old open space and recreation plan, there's a whole history section in there, I believe. So, but I imagine how have things changed over the last 7 years? I don't think-
Then we're not going all the way back.
Yeah.
Is anyone hearing about, besides community gardens, other types of open space or recreational programs that we can amplify? I live on Lincoln Park, and like every weekend there's like, two or three volleyball games set up on the grass, and it actually does a huge number on the grass. So, I've kind of been wondering if they'd be better off putting in a designated, like a sandy area, and not have them playing on the grass that then, which they turn to mud. Actually put in like a volleyball court. But then it kind of makes it very single purpose.
True.
But no, I don't think we have to spend a whole lot more time on this. People can submit their own responses.
Noted. So, all right, so I guess we could move on with the agenda. So let's see, stop share.
Did you have any other letters or notifications that came in?
No. I've been talking about another RDA that's coming in the next, or NOI that's coming in the next month. So it's either going to come during our gardens meeting or the month after. I would prefer it to be the month after, but that's never how things work. I digress. So I'm gonna pop the agenda back up here in a second, and then we can move on down it. Keep it. First thing, set agenda. Open. Six, seven. So here we go. Share screen. And agenda. Okay, so we've gone through letters and notifications. We've gone through our introduction, request for determination of applicability. I guess the next step is to talk about the conscom vacancy. Please tell me you guys scout your networks and have anyone who is interested in the Conservation Commission position. I will have to repost that. I haven't done it as the year just started. So now's a good time to get it out as everyone's just getting back off of their holidays and everyone's just getting back into the groove of the year. So I will deal with the whole communications posting again, and hopefully that will garner some interest this time around. We did receive probably 2 or 3 applications, but it wasn't very wetlands specific. So the qualifications didn't match. So I wasn't able to move anyone forward. I've even reached out to people who historically applied before. So I'm trying to cast a
Yeah.
wide net, but Somerville is only 4 square miles.
I know that the city now has a different process for vetting candidates than it used to have. But I'm wondering whether it would be worth if you share like even like a redacted version or something of some of these so that maybe the other commissioners can kind of weigh in on, whether even though they don't have really specific wetland experience, whether the experience they have we think is is still close enough or useful.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, it makes
I mean,
sense.
'cause I mean, I don't have wetland experience, so I'm not sure if you saw my application now, whether I
Oh,
would.
there's nuance in our situation, and each one of the commissioners that I currently have on board is an expert in their own right, and actually is quite relevant to the Conservation Commission in their own way. So whereas I've seen certain resumes that just may be a different thing altogether, in terms of direction and what they would actually want to be on the commission for. So
Yeah.
it may be quite unappealing to them that they're not able to change more, or if that we're always just dealing with the humdrum permitting process, if you're lacking interest in the engineering or wetland expertise area. So
Yeah.
yeah, a
I
lot of people,
understand.
yeah, a lot of people don't exactly understand what it is we do here when they apply. Um, and I've known that from doing certain interviews in the past. So yeah, I will definitely forward anything else along, redacted versions, of course. And yeah, I could definitely use a discerning eye, but I could also use a lot more applications. This is the least interest we've ever had in my 5 years of being here. So I don't know what changed. Um, so yeah, that's all I got for that. Next, I believe would be the community gardens program. And we did not have a meeting recently, have we? We scheduled, I think we plotted to schedule the February meeting to be the huge Conservation Commission garden meeting. That's all encompassing with all the commissioners, the yearly annual gardens meeting. So that would be the 4th week of February, I believe. But it was a question, A, when are we going to kick off the community garden subcommittee again? And B, do we do the subcommittee meeting separately, or do we just have that meeting depending on what our load is in terms of receipts of RDAs or NOIs? But as it stands, I think a normal February meeting would just be February 27th, gardens meeting. And whatever NOI we could squeeze in there as well. It should be fine. In theory.
We usually have them come in and we just allow people to talk about how the season went and stuff, right?
Yeah, it usually becomes a large meeting with how the seasons went, how the community gardeners feel about the program, and its current capacity. But this is much more of a heavier lift when we only met yearly about it. Now that we have the subcommittee, I think it's going to be a lighter, easier meeting because we've had more voices heard. And you guys have attended to a lot of their needs and made a huge step forward with the community gardens program. And Cindy has been invaluable as well. Like, she has just been excellent for the program. So yeah, I believe it's going to be a lighter meeting than in years past.
Do
So-
you have any update about the automation stuff?
Yeah, so we're gonna meet again on the 16th. And
Okay.
I guess there was just a huge new update for town IT stuff for Office
Mhm.
365.
Oh,
So Dan, the IT person that's working with us, finally has access to like Power Automate tools.
okay.
And he wants to play around with that and a dummy spreadsheet to see if he can get the Google Sheet to kind of like update automatically into the Office 365 environment. And then from there, we can send emails out automatically. We've been running into a problem with integrating like the Google spreadsheet with the town software and being able to send emails without like sending and without like getting bounce backs, right? You have to have like a constant contact or something. And then for that, you have to have like a server. So like getting into the town's firewall and also having our own garden list has been really a challenge. So we think we've got a workaround now, but Dan is working on that this in the next 2 weeks, and I am working on taking all of the lists and consolidating them into one massive list with everybody on it and when they got on it, which is kind of a lot of work because all of the garden lists for each individual one were done very wildly. So I'm trying to put those all together by the 16th as well. So hopefully by the time we have this meeting in February, or the 13th or the 16th, 13th or 15th, sorry, that's one, I'm not sure exactly in February. I think it's the 13th. For the 27th, we should have a pretty good handle on whether that's going to work or not. And if it's not going to work, then we got to like start over again, which has not been great for this tiny little mini task force. So we've had a lot of start over again moments.
Okay.
So hopefully this one is the last. But the idea being that hopefully by the end we at least have automatic emails going out at least once a year to pull people off the list. It's going to be work for Cindy, because she's going to have to man the pulling people off of the Google Sheet, but then that's going to automatically like update and using the automation tools to the email list inside the Somerville like firewall.
Okay.
There's a lot of nerd stuff going on, and I don't understand it all, but that's as succinct as I can get it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty positive about it after the last meeting. I think we got somewhere. I think it's gonna be good. So I don't know if we want to use like that, because it's not really a subcommittee meeting, it's our normal meeting with everybody. And for like agenda items, should we have a report out? We should probably have a report out on this, communications task force. And that would be me.
Yeah.
At the very least. So the whole commission can hear it, and the other garden coordinators can be there too. And we need to make sure that Cindy can be at this one.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just so they know like the behind the scenes, like you are making progress and moving on stuff. I think it's worth letting them know.
Yeah, I think so. And as far as our like subcommittee goes, we still have some documents we're supposed to be working on, right? But we haven't met in a while just because we sort of, I think we were trying to focus on this like one communications thing before we moved on to other stuff.
Mhm. We should probably invite, who is it, Chris and Sarah, and
Yeah,
to this one too. The
Yeah.
folks helping you with the automation.
yeah, for sure. They've been a big help,
Yeah,
just volunteering their time. So
yeah.
but other than like an update
So,
from
but so
the
Malik,
task
so
force,
does Malik need to make sure to add them to the invitation then?
Yeah, it's Sarah Dwyer and Chris Dwan, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, I could definitely add them to the invitation. I'm familiar with both of those individuals. So
You even see if Dan, is it Dan Moore?
Moore? Yep.
Yeah, see if he
Yeah.
wants to come too.
All right. I could float an email to Dan Moore inquiring that. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I'll just send him the email. Can't hurt to ask. So that's it for the gardens subcommittee update, right? David,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
anything on?
Yeah, so the most recent CPC meeting, we started allocating this year's funding to a number of the applicants. We also had we've had a couple, this has been kind of a recurring thing, and I'm not sure exactly what I think about it, but we've been getting kind of consistent off-cycle requests for money too. Some of them are projects that we've already, had received funding, and then of course they went out to bid, and the bids came in much higher than they anticipated and higher than we had allocated. And I think, as a committee, we're just kind of trying to be aware of that, and and have to assess those off-cycle requests for additional money when they come in. We were kind of given an advance notice that the city is likely to come to us for a very expensive project to repair the city hall clock tower. But and my notes make it seem like we're expecting that to be an off-cycle request, although I don't remember why, as I sit here, that's off-cycle, except I guess they just don't want to wait till the next cycle. And they're the city, so I guess they can do that. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the rules are about when we should be entertaining off-cycle applications. For open space projects specifically, we approved money to Blessing the Bay for work on the linear path that I think has been kind of underway for a while. I forget if they came before us too, Malik. I don't know if you remember. And there was one committee member that was unhappy with the perception that they were taking, that it was intruding on the road, and he was concerned that the way it's being configured would make it's actually the same area that we were just talking about earlier in this meeting, where they're doing the I think it's the same area.
Oh, Shore Drive, that area. So
Yeah,
that's
is that where the Blessing of the Bay linear
It's-
path is?
It is close, I believe.
Okay, but for some reason, in my mind, I kind of have them. I think of them as kind of different parts of a similar. I mean, obviously it's not sewer work, but it seemed like it was the same general area. The Kennedy School had previously received money for redoing their playground, but they wanted another $35,000 because of the sort of cost overruns that I already alluded to. And that's really kind of about it for now. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions, but a lot of the work is a lot more. The city has also gotten funding for both construction and development plans for a couple of small parks. I don't think nothing really earth-shaking except for the price tags. So that's all I have, unless people have specific questions.
All right. So, let's see. Nothing new on ongoing projects. Unless you guys have any questions about ongoing projects, I could look into it. After you guys ask me what's going on with it.
Cool.
That spreadsheet has yet to be updated for the year, so I need to update it, especially since we have a bunch of projects coming in.
Was there, in terms of ongoing projects, I'm trying to remember if there was like anything else we needed to do with regard to the vortectic units at Assembly Row. I mean, kind of Frick kind of came back to us and, said, hey, they're not ours anymore, not our
Yeah,
department.
that's right. I believe I need to set up Luchika into the next meeting to because it is on the city to maintain those units, but they were also looking into the reasons. So I believe they were looking into the tide gates, and I need to figure out how everything went. But with the inclement weather we've been having, I'm wondering whether they got a proper look at things or not. So I will reach out to Luchika, and I will invite her to the next meeting and ask her for updates.
Yeah.
So.
And kind of a similar vein, I don't see, I'm not sure, I don't really see new items on the agenda, which I thought used to be just kind of a standard thing, but
Interesting.
but I have one anyway.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Well, you mentioned Luchika reminds me that I saw her the other day, and she asked me, if we've been reviewing the new, Massachusetts Wetlands Act.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, wait, let me see something. I think I got updates from either the MACC or Luchika. Let's see. That came in recently. All right, Luchika Heller.
Well, I don't know when it came in, but at the time, but there's only about 60 days, I think, or something. I think comments are due like right after our next meeting, so if we don't discuss it till, so it'll be tough for us if we felt like there was anything we needed to comment on. We'll only have a couple of days, I think, from our next meeting till I think the comments due either the end of February, or was it, maybe it's the end of March, maybe we have one more, but I forget. I just know after talking to Luchika, it seemed like we didn't have a lot of time if we thought we wanted to comment as a commission.
All right,
Yeah.
there are public hearings on January 31st in regards to this at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. and then February 1st at 1. And then
When are comments due?
comments are accepted until 5 p.m. March 1st.
Yeah, so we really, so at least as a group, we'd only have, next month's meeting,
Yep.
and only a couple of days after that to actually
All
get
right.
something in the mail if we wanted to review them. And I don't know anything at all about the nature or the scale or the scope of the revisions, and I mean, maybe we don't have anything we want to say about them. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I think I'm gonna forward everyone's Luchika's email. I got an FYI actually just this Monday about it.
Well, that was because I saw her on Monday.
Very nice.
Yeah, sorry about that. She
I
was
was
afraid you
hoping.
were going to ask her to come to the meeting tonight.
Was she really?
Yes.
Well, it's probably best that she comes to one that's a little more full of commissioners and not barely quorum. So that works. That
Right, I told her we might ask you to come next month. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll invite Luchika, and I'll bring up also, I'll add the Mass
She might not be the best one to know the most about it, though.
Oh,
She might
no,
just brought it to your
these
opinion,
are
to your
two,
attention.
these are two separate things.
Oh, okay, okay.
So she needs to basically talk
Oh,
about
that's right,
the
Assembly Square,
connection.
Assembly Square.
And
Right, but
then-
right, so I don't know if there is someone, I don't know who should come and speak to us about the wetland.
Well, actually, no one does. You guys are to attend those meetings that I'm gonna send you all the fancy
Yeah.
little
Oh,
links
okay.
to. And
I
then it could
also-
become a discussion point during the meeting if you guys all feel so inclined.
On the 30, they're on the 31st and the 1st?
Yeah, so Mass DEP conducted 2 information sessions on, wait, January 25th is Thursday. There's a lot of meetings. There's one on Thursday, one happened this Wednesday, and then there's 3 virtual public meetings on the revisions of the stormwater handbook.
Okay. So are links or information about all that in the email you're gonna forward?
Oh yeah.
And I just threw in the chat that the MACC is having like a lunch and learn webinar tomorrow in case anybody's free and wants to learn about the updates to the regs. They're
Ooh.
doing their own.
Oh, okay.
That works. And also speaking of the MACC, I need to send 2 people to the conference in March. So I'd like for everyone to have a nice hard think about that and circulate emails but I believe who hasn't gone?
I actually have never gone. And someone I was talking to another colleague who was on her commission, so you've gone, it's great, you should go. So, but I feel like I should defer to newer commissioners. But
Well,
if
there's
if
2.
there's capacity, I would consider going. I don't know the date offhand, but
All right, and it's in the College of the Holy Cross, right, Titania?
think
Oh, I don't remember. I think I was the last person who went, and this was like, I think literally right before COVID or something. But it was great. I had a great time. David, you would like it.
yeah,
Yes.
so, right. So I would be interested in going. And Newt, I know Newt, you've spoken a bunch of times, right?
Yeah,
Are you going this year?
I am not going this year, but I have
So,
spoken there before.
Susan, as our newest commissioner, would you have any interest?
I don't really know much about it. Can you explain what's involved and how long it is? And you said Holy Cross in Worcester?
Yeah, College of the Holy Cross. How many days is it, guys? Because the only conference I've attended was the fall conference, and I did it virtually because it was in the heat of COVID. So let me see if I could bring up that information and disseminate it. Stop share.
John, is it more than one day? For some reason I thought it was a day.
I reckon.
I only went there for a day. I think it's more than one day though. I only went for one day though.
All right, so the MACC conference. Oh, that is not the right acronym. Okay, here it goes. Oof. mm, Come on, it's got to be in March. Annual Environmental Conference at 8 to 4. March 2nd. Saturday, March 2nd. It's also Friday, March 1st for some reason. 8 to 4, 8 to 4. Yeah, I think it's 2 days. I think it's the Friday and the Saturday. I don't know why they don't have a dedicated page to it.
Yeah, I think I went on the Saturday one, so I didn't have to like skip work, but
Yeah, I think it's definitely the Saturday.
And what exactly is it? Like, what are we learning and how is it organized?
Oh, more or less, it's a bunch of units you take, and if you have interest in learning more about, I think they would have something for new commissioners. It's a bunch of wetland regulations as it pertains to sometimes coastal stuff or really specific cases or just introductory wetlands permit.
Yeah, that
That
sounds
would
interesting. I
matter.
think I'm like Tatiana, I can't really take work off.
That makes
But
a
I
lot
could
of
go on
sense.
Saturday, I believe.
Yep,
What day on, what is it, March what?
March 2nd.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Yeah, I think it is just the March 2nd.
Really?
March 2nd, March 3rd, I thought you said, Saturday, Friday and Saturday. Or wait, third, wait, I just wrote down 4th and 5th. Is it 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd?
I think it's March 2nd.
Second is a Saturday, the first is a Friday.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
yeah.
first is Friday. I don't know why, but it says that these fundamentals spring spree, plenty of options to begin your fundamental units. I don't know what these are. But I think the second is pretty much the meat and potatoes of everything. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested in going.
Excellent. So I'm going to get the stuff with finance and everything done because we have money set away for it. I just need to actually get you guys registered. So there'll be emails going back and forth for Commissioner Turin and O'Brien.
Yeah, let me look at my calendar super quick, but I don't, nothing, I don't think I have anything that weekend.
I'm just looking at the registration. It seems like, Malik, you might have to have Susan and David register themselves because it seems like you have to select these sessions you want to attend.
Yep.
Huh, okay.
But I mean, there's a preview of it all. I wonder if I can just email this to you or can I drop it in the chat? Is there a chat? Right,
Yeah, the
see if
chat
that
will-
works. But yeah, it seems like if you do that and click the tab attendee selections.
What's the website address?
If you if
I
you
dropped
just
it in the
Google
chat.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, you just have to click the attendee selections tab and then you can see all the different selections of the sessions.
All right.
Oh no, I'm just chatting with Newt. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I can see it though.
Oh, you
I-
can.
Yeah.
I cut and pasted it into.
Thank you. Okay.
Everybody's.
Oh.
Smoothly done, Newt.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's great. I think, yeah, I'm very interested in going.
I don't know, do we need to have, I don't even know if I'm just trying to see if I can log in to MACC, or whether if I need to get like membership info that I don't have.
I think
I'll look
there's
into that.
non-members. Yeah.
Yeah, but we all should be members. I'll make
Yeah,
sure
I
everyone's
think I am a member, I just haven't tried to go there. Oh, okay, I've got a,
because we only have a limited number of handbooks, I think. So I need to figure that out also to make sure everything's up to date. Because I did just recently submit the invoice for everything for the MACC. So whatever we do register for, we should have a discounted rate. So I'll make some phone calls with the MACC tomorrow to make sure we have access to the MACC handbook as needed because we need that to do our jobs. And then also ask about the conference and how to register people and have them select what they need to in a municipal capacity because there's a lot of municipalities that actually send their commissioners to this conference in theory. So
Okay.
There's that.
yeah.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you guys. Next on the agenda, if I could ever find it amongst the 50 windows I have open. Okay, so There it goes. Next would be, oh, action items and minutes. So things I would have to take care of is the MACC conference materials and make sure you guys have access to the handbook. And then I would need to bring Luchika to the next meeting for February 27th. And let's see what's next. And then also forward you guys the information about the Mass DEP Wetlands Resilience Update. And then get you guys a list of the minutes owed for the year, and then also I would need to disseminate the last recording, transcripts, and other materials from the old meetings. I have some drives to update on the Google Drive. Try and make sure everything's there so it's easy and accessible in one spot. And then the general overdue website updates. And then also there is the community gardens map that is also slated to be updated, but that's on the PSUF end. So as soon as that map is updated by PSUF, or I will slap that online. Anything else comes to mind? And we clearly don't have minutes for last month because Michael said he'll do them. Oh, I'm not on mute, am I?
No, you're good.
Nope.
I don't have anything else.
I think so. You were gonna send us links to the transcripts
Yep.
to the meetings. 'Cause I think I have in my notes that I volunteered to do the October.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
funny thing.
Perfect.
I think I discussed this briefly last month, but yeah, so links for October would be awesome. But I think September back through to 2022 is now inaccessible, the links, because we no longer have GoToMeeting, and those are all specific GoToMeeting links, and I believe that the support ended. So what I need to do is work with likely Dan Moore or someone from IT on getting new links, or just the meetings posted on the website that could actually be linked easily and disseminated so that you guys have and everyone has access to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So links to website, links to meeting. So there. So I'll get you October, David. That's actually I'll send that out tonight. When did we start using Zoom? September?
Something around there, I think.
Yeah, I reckon it was September. Was either the last go-to meeting or the first Zoom meeting. So it should be a bit more palatable in terms of size and type of information. And the transcription seems like it's a little better than it was with GoToMeeting, and I don't actually have to load it each time for a set amount of hours. It just automatically generates when I get the meeting minutes. I mean, the meeting video recording. So there's a few quality of life changes and a few frustrations, but Yeah, I'll make it work. Anything else? So, with nothing being said, do we have a motion to discuss anything else or adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Understood. Thank you all for another productive meeting.
We have to all vote.
Oh,
Raise your hand.
Oh, yeah, my camera's not working, but I'm
You can say,
going.
you can say yes.
all
Hands
right. So I guess I could do a roll call and everyone could say a,
Oh, gosh, I think we all say aye.
there we go.
Aye.
I
Bye.
The ayes have it.
There we go.
Guys have
think
it.
it's unanimous.
Yes.
Understood.
All right.
See you all next month.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Yep, thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.